Cure is a terrifying film. Part of its terror has to do with its open-endedness, which seems, by design, to leak out of the film in a way which corrupts the atmosphere of our own lives. This isn't something unique to Cure, as most movies with any degree of thematic competence try to do the same, reframing aspects of our own life and experiences with their power. What does make Cure unique is in the way it uses its own vagaries which are in keeping with the plot, in order to manipulate us, doing so in a way not too different than how the victims of hypnosis on screen are hypnotized. These parallels of hypnotism on screen and hypnotism as a technique for filmmaking are obvious, especially on subsequent watches. But even beyond that, the movie, through making these parallels, seems to be trying to plant a seed in us, one which affects the way we view the world around us. What the movie does to accomplish this is that it appeals to our sense of pattern recognition, a tendency we have as humans to try to make sense of a world that often lacks explanation. An example of overactive pattern recognition can be seen in conspiratorial worldviews, where every action, no matter how random or remote, plays a part in some cohesive whole. This isn't to say that all pattern recognition is overactive, as often patterns really do exist, including patterns which imply conspiratorial intent on behalf of groups or individuals. But the ability to piece together these patterns comes with a cost. We often notice patterns where none exist. Cure is a movie about random violence, and a movie about its senselessness elevates this material by artificially stringing it together with a pattern that contains supernatural implications. But by hiding the source of this supernatural cause, deliberately blurring the lines between individuals, eras, phenomena, and consciousnesses, we as viewers have no hope of solving the mystery contained within. We're left with an emotion, but not left with any understanding which can help us categorize that emotion. When it comes to these blurred lines, the first I mentioned, the blurred line of individuality, can be seen within the film's diffusing of responsibility and guilt for the crimes being committed. Not only is there a hypnotist involved, who ultimately, as far as we can tell, is the cause and catalyst for these grisly murders, but there's also those he hypnotizes. This would be a simple enough arrangement, one no different than the relationship between killer and plotter seen in the espionage classic, The Manchurian Candidate, where assassins are trained using advanced brainwashing techniques to kill. In this film though, it's established that those doing the killing always, technically, have a motive, one which they're very much aware of once they come to, so much so that they don't even seem eager to deny said motive. If the physical killer has as much of a motive for the murder as the metaphysical killer, at what point is it fair to say that the blame lies solely on one or the other? The movie takes this blurring a step further. We have our villain, the movie giving him to us relatively early for a mystery plot like this. But once we discover this villain, we're left with unsatisfying question marks as to his motives, origin, or identity. More than that, we're left with a further question mark as to how much of the evil starts with him. After all, he's a young man, younger than the detective examining the case, yet we're shown film evidence that the techniques for hypnotism that he's using go back for over a century, and, it's implied, maybe as old as time itself. The movie informs us that governments themselves have been involved with the practice of suppressing these black arts. If that's true, the supernatural conspiracy involved is, by extension, a conspiracy of the most classic kind, that between governments and what they do or don't expose to the public they govern. Those relaying this information are as prone to hypnotism as anyone else, leading to further blurred lines. Those investigating have loved ones who live in states not too different from the states brought on by hypnotism. The line between the objective and subjective are blurred, something which is common in psychological thrillers of this type, but in this case, the blurring again contributes to the theme of blame or guilt. We as viewers, because we're not being given enough information to determine what is or isn't real, become not unlike the hypnotized in the film, who in earlier scenes we can only witness their state from the outside. But as the film progresses and its point of view becomes more obscured and vague, we begin to experience exactly what they do. Jump cuts, hallucinations, unannounced dream sequences, and dreamlike art direction become the norm. This is the final and most important blurred line. It's the blurred line between what happens on screen and what happens before it, behind your very head in a world you inhabit, the world continuing on all around you as the film plays, the world continuing on all around you even as the film stops. Cure not only shows you various characters being hypnotized, it not only puts you in their headspace, it not only shows you the hypnotist, then pulls the rug out from under you by casting doubt in your mind about how important he is to it all. But the film also very directly and not so subtly does its best to hypnotize you as the viewer. Given the cost of hypnotism shown in the film, attempting to hypnotize us, even if it is just a stylistic technique or gimmick, is almost enough to leave a bad taste in your mouth. It almost feels as if the movie has some sort of leg up on us, like it has some trick to pull, one which it's excited about, not even hiding it, once it has us in its grasp. The open-ended nature of the ending, with the sour note of the detective's wife being another victim, her corpse upsetting to behold even for its brief moment on screen, is then contrasted by the detective sitting there lulled into peace beyond loss or stress, implying that he hasn't been made aware of his wife's death yet, or that, maybe, he's played some part in it. The setting is crowded and typical, but the film has showed us settings just like it earlier, only to tug that implied comfort out from beneath us. We know that the worst can happen here, just like it's happened everywhere else. The waitress, as innocuous as anyone else, is approached by a woman who whispers something into her ear. This act should be random. It should register as random to us, no different than anything else any other extra in the shot is doing. Yet somehow, we mentally take note of it. The woman whispering was never in the film before, nor was there any indication that any other character possessed any of the ability for hypnotism shown by the villain, at least not any character who's still alive. The line then between culpability is blurred further. The waitress grabs a knife, doing so underhanded, in a way that we immediately register as a threat. The movie ends there, cutting away from the action at the perfect moment to leave us without any sure understanding of what it is we've just seen. Not only are we right to be concerned, right to expect the worst, we're also hypnotized. We're also viewing things through the mind of somebody who's been hypnotized. We're also viewing a movie which isn't real, it's entirely hypnotism by its very nature. Was the whisperer another hypnotist? Does she work for the main villain? Work with him as an equal? Was she his superior? Are they the same person? Are they working for the same person? Is there a person to work for, or is it a force? Is Mesmer still around? Was he the creator of this technique, or just the only person to discover it on